Imagine a world where no one pays taxes anymore. No income tax, no property tax, no sales tax, your paycheck, 100% yours. Gas, cheaper, food, no tax markup. Sounds amazing, right? But what if I told you that a world with zero taxes wouldn't be a utopia? It would be the beginning of economic collapse? Today we're going to break down what would actually happen if everyone stopped paying taxes step by step. And we'll look at how this exact kind of collapse has happened before in Weimar Germany. Taxes aren't just about government greed. They're the financial backbone of society. Here's what taxes fund. Public education, where future leaders are born. Healthcare that saves lives every day, and emergency services that rush to our aid. Police keeping our streets safe, fire departments ready to tackle blazes, and national defense protecting our borders. Taxes also pave our roads, keep airports running, and ensure public transit is available. They even make sure our garbage is collected and our water is clean. They support welfare programs, provide pensions for the elderly, and offer disability benefits to those in need. Taxes fund our court systems, maintain prisons, and pay social workers who help our communities. Even the internet you're watching this on? Yep, it was built using tax dollars from early government research projects. Fun fact, the internet started as a government project called ARPANET, funded by your tax dollars. So what happens if everyone just stops paying taxes? Let's say it's a global movement. Overnight, the flow of money to governments halts. In a week, teachers don't get paid, road maintenance stops, emergency services begin cutting hours. In a month, public schools shut down, police departments operate on skeleton crews, hospitals run out of funding for basic services, the military begins rationing. In 6 months, entire cities start breaking down. Mass layoffs hit public workers, crime spikes, only the rich who can afford private services live in security. Governments don't just sit and watch this happen, they still need to function, but without tax revenue they have two options: borrow or print money. Borrowing doesn't work because who would lend to a government with no reliable income? So that leaves one option: print money, lots of it. Which brings us to one of the most extreme historical examples of what happens when governments flood the economy with money without having tax revenue to back it. Germany after World War I was in economic chaos. The Treaty of Versailles forced them to pay massive reparations to other countries, but their economy was devastated and their tax base was shrinking. So what did they do? They started printing money. At first it helped them pay bills, but soon it spiraled. By 1923, Germany was printing trillions of marks a day. Workers were paid twice a day and rushed to stores before their money lost value. A loaf of bread went from 250 marks to 200 billion marks in just over a year. What happened during that explosion in prices? Chaos. Savings vanished overnight. Middle-class families who had spent decades saving in cash suddenly found themselves destitute. People who thought they were financially secure couldn't afford food. Pensions became worthless. Businesses couldn't keep up with pricing. By the time goods were on the shelf, the price was already too low. Employees started demanding to be paid in physical goods like coal or bread instead of currency. Shops and restaurants sometimes changed prices by the hour. Entire paychecks were spent immediately because by the next day the money would buy half as much. There were even reports of people stealing bread carts, not the money inside them, because the bread was more valuable than cash. That breakdown of purchasing power wasn't just an economic crisis, it was a psychological one. People lost faith in the currency, in the banks, in the government, and ultimately in each other. In a no-tax society, institutions crumble. People stop trusting the government. Civil unrest increases. Rich people wall themselves into private communities, hiring private security, using private schools, and avoiding the chaos. Everyone else lives in a failing system. No healthcare, no education, no protection. This is the opposite of freedom. It's not a libertarian paradise, it's feudalism with Wi-Fi. Taxes aren't the enemy. Bad use of taxes is. We should absolutely ask hard questions. Are our taxes being used efficiently? Who gets tax breaks and who doesn't? Are we funding long-term growth or just patching short-term problems? But the complete removal of taxes would collapse civilization as we know it. No schools, no roads, no stability, just inflation, inequality, and chaos. So next time someone says, "What if we just didn't pay taxes?" Ask them, "Are you ready to pay $200 billion for a loaf of bread?" If you like this deep dive into economic hypotheticals, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Would you rather pay more taxes and have great public services, or pay nothing and